Yes, the tongues of angels, the singing in tongues. Sharlar limi chorik nemohish nemo porlemaracherik. Sharlar lami porlemini charik nemoklik. Jesham bom shnimini charek nemoklik. Ladar lemora. Die porlemini tjushnamok die forlemok die. If you've ever been a singer, I'm not a singer, however, I can imagine that the freedom and liberty you have with your throat and your voice and the amblature and the movement of the mouth, it's so absolutely tremendous. It's like a cathedral. You're singing in a cathedral inside your own throat and mouth. It's just wonderful to be so articulate with song and so creative. It is absolutely dazzling gift. Please, please seek this. It is for your blessing. I encourage you. Please take it up. You're a Christian. You have the Holy Spirit. Seek this gift. There's one more thing to be sought. I'll give a little testimony of how this came about. In one church I attended, there was a woman. There was a woman who had been ill for a long time for no known reason. None whatsoever. An unknown illness. She was bedridden. Couldn't get up, wouldn't get up, didn't get up. Her husband faithfully tended her, cooked the meals, got the children off to school, went to work, came back. She was still in bed, apparently stricken and ill. She was not putting it on. Don't worry about that. They didn't know what to do about it. The doctors didn't know what to do. The family didn't know what to do. They sent for the elders of the church. The elders came. They prayed. Nothing particularly spectacular. Yet the next morning she got up. She had been 8 years in bed. 8 years. Ill. Quite ill. The doctors recognised she was ill, but couldn't figure out what it was. She got up. And that week she came to church, gave a testimony in a very ordinary, flat voice, and yet a sense of holiness broke out in the church. Everybody prayed, looked with eyes uplifted, and sang wonderfully songs. And she went back to her seat. I didn't know where she was. I thought she'd gone much further back. And then suddenly there was this amazing descant voice coming off to my right. And I thought, oh, who's that? And everybody else was looking forward. And so I craned my neck forward. It felt like I was being rather nosy. But everybody else was just awesomely facing forward. And I turned my head and I was surprised. It was her. I thought she'd gone further back. And she was singing this very high, radiant voice. I went back home and I said, Lord, whatever that it was, I want it. And for a week I pursued God, singing high as I could, until I had it. And He gave it to me, because I was totally focused. I did nothing else but seek that song all day long for a week. And at the end of the week He gave it to me. So I have it as a permanent possession now. I met the lady later and she said that was the only time she'd ever sung that song. I was quite surprised because I sing it every day. Not that song, but in that manner. And I will show you very shortly what that is. But on her head, when I craned forward, not only was she radiantly singing, but on her head were tongues of fire, like the glinting, sparkling lights, the rays coming out of a diamond, like laser beams, pleats of laser beams, gently shooting forth from her shoulders and her head and around her. They were like an Elizabethan ruff or collar, lace collar thing, except it was like the aurora borealis, or the southern or northern lights, or the aurora australis. It was electric and moving and living. And this I knew with the tongues of fire. She was being baptized in the Holy Spirit, and she received this song. And I'll sing it now. It's very high. And so on. Now, I'm a very imperfect vessel. I'm a man of older years now, and my body was never ever built for singing. I have sung better, I must say. I love my God, and it's as it is on the day. But as you can see, it's quite high for a man. I have a tenor voice. This is not, I assure you, it is not falsetto. It's not descant. It's not a tenor descant. It's something else. There's an unusual formation in the mouth. It's a bit more like whistling, but it's hard to describe the technicalities of it. It would be extremely difficult to manufacture. I cannot do it any other way. And it fills me full of joy. And whenever I sing like this in church, from the platform, there is a revival spirit that stirs out through the meeting. It is wonderful to be led by the Spirit of God in worship, to have these extra descant-like heights to be expressed toward God. He is worthy of all we can give, everything we have in us. Now there are historical roots of this. Hannah babbling at the curtain. Paul saying that he spoke in tongues more than ye all, and he gave also report of the tongues of angels and a new song. Each one can have a new song. So it's very likely the first century church had these things. And in Azusa Street, one of the early writers who wrote up about